I was 29 years old when my entire relationship fell apart in a coffee shop parking lot. And honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's been 3 weeks since it happened, and some part of me thought maybe writing this all down would help me process it. Get it out of my system. So here we are. Her name doesn't really matter anymore, but she was 27. We'd been together for almost 2 years. 2 years. That's not nothing, right? That's birthdays and holidays and quiet Sunday mornings and all those little moments that make you think you're building something real with someone. We had our own places, but most weekends we'd end up together. She worked in marketing, I'm in software development. We both pulled in decent money, split the check on dates, kept things pretty equal. Normal relationship stuff. At least, I thought it was normal. About 4 months ago, she started dropping hints. And I mean heavy hints, the kind you can't really ignore forever. "So, when am I finally going to meet the people who raised you?" she'd ask, laughing, but not really laughing. And she had a point. 2 years is a long time to keep someone away from your family. I knew that, but I kept putting it off, and it wasn't because I was ashamed of my parents or anything like that. It's just that they're different. And I had this sinking feeling she wouldn't understand. My parents are both in their early 60s now. They retired early from solid, respectable careers. My dad was in accounting, my mom was a nurse. They live in this small 3-bedroom ranch house they bought back in the 80s. And I mean they still live there. Same house. They drive a 2008 sedan that runs perfectly fine. My mother still clips coupons like it's a competitive sport. My father has flannel shirts he's been wearing since before I graduated high school. They shop at discount grocery stores. They fix things instead of replacing them. And the idea of eating out more than once a month. That's extravagant to them. If you saw them walking down the street or sitting in their living room, you'd probably think they were just scraping by on Social Security, maybe even struggling a little. But here's the thing. My parents are worth about $8.7 million. Yeah, let that sink in. They saved aggressively their entire working lives. They invested smart. They lived way, way below their means. The house is paid off. There's no debt anywhere. They could afford pretty much anything they wanted. They just don't want anything. They're genuinely, truly happy with their simple life. Gardening in the backyard. Reading books they check out from the library. Playing cards with the neighbors on Friday nights. That's their idea of a good time. And honestly, they seem more content than most people I know who are chasing the next big purchase. I grew up the same way. Public schools, no designer clothes. I got a used car when I turned 16, and I was grateful for it. I didn't even realize we were actually wealthy until I was in college, and my dad casually mentioned their retirement portfolio during a conversation about financial aid. I remember just sitting there, staring at him, my brain trying to compute what he'd just said. It blew my mind. They raised me with those same values, though. Save more than you spend. Appreciate what you have. Don't go flashing money around like some kind of idiot. So even now, I make good money, but I live pretty modestly. I've got a nice apartment, nothing crazy. Reliable car, nothing flashy. Most people who meet me would never in a million years guess my background. And that's fine with me. I like it that way. So, when my girlfriend kept pushing and pushing to meet my parents, I finally caved. It was early October, a Sunday afternoon. I drove her out to their place, and the whole way there I had this knot in my stomach. I just knew. I knew it wasn't going to go well. And I was right. The visit was uncomfortable from the start. She kept making these little faces. When my mom served us homemade iced tea in mismatched glasses, she smiled, but her eyes were doing something else. When my dad took her outside to show her his vegetable garden and started talking about how much money they save on groceries, I could see her mentally checking out. And then dinner. We ate off these plates that were clearly from the 70s, floral patterns and everything, and I watched her push her food around while glancing at her phone every few minutes. At one point, she pulled me aside into the hallway. "Your bathroom only has one sink," she whispered, like she was telling me there was a dead body in there. "Yeah," I said, "it's a small house. And that couch, how old is that thing?" "I don't know, maybe 20 years. It's comfortable." She didn't say much after that, just smiled tightly and nodded at whatever my parents said. The whole drive back, she was silent. And I knew something was wrong, but I figured we'd get home and talk about it like adults. Maybe she'd say she felt awkward, or that it wasn't what she expected. We'd work through it. We didn't make it home. About halfway back, she asked me to pull over. There was this coffee shop with a parking lot, and I thought maybe she needed to use the restroom or wanted to grab a drink and decompress. I pulled in, put the car in the park, and turned to her. She had this look on her face, serious, almost pitying. "I need to be honest with you," she started. "Okay," I said, my stomach already dropping. Today was really eye-opening for me. "Okay, your parents are sweet people, I can see that, but I can't do this." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the car. "Do what?" "This relationship." She looked right at me. "I thought you came from more. I didn't realize your family was struggling like that." I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. "Struggling? My parents aren't struggling." "Babe, come on, that house, the furniture, your dad's clothes." She shook her head. "I'm not judging them, I'm really not. But I need to be realistic about my future. I can't marry into poverty. I want kids someday, and I need to know they'll be provided for." "My parents aren't poor," I said slowly, trying to keep my voice steady. "They just live simply." "Right, because they have to." She said it like she was explaining something obvious to a child. "Look, I know you're being defensive about this, but I saw what I saw. And I've been thinking about it, and you're the same way, aren't you? You're always suggesting we cook at home instead of trying new restaurants. You never want to upgrade your car even though you could afford the payments. That ratty old backpack you refuse to replace." "Those are choices," I said, "not necessities." "Choices born from growing up without much," she said softly. "I get it, but I grew up differently. I'm used to a certain lifestyle. My parents gave me that, and I want to give it to my future family. You're a great guy, but we're incompatible long term." I sat there, genuinely stunned. 2 years, 2 whole years together, and she was dumping me in a parking lot because my parents' house wasn't impressive enough. "So, that's it," I said. "You're breaking up with me because my parents don't have granite countertops." "Don't be reductive," she snapped. "This is about values and lifestyle compatibility. I need someone who shares my vision for the future, someone who can provide the life I want." She reached for the door handle. "I'm sorry, but this isn't it." And then she got out, just like that. She called a rideshare right there in the parking lot and left me sitting in my car, hands still on the steering wheel, trying to figure out what the hell had just happened. I drove home in a daze. I didn't cry, I didn't rage. I just felt numb. And honestly, a little insulted. She'd judged my entire family based on their furniture, based on appearances, based on nothing real. I blocked her number that night, blocked her on everything. I figured if she was that shallow, if that's really how she saw the world, then I dodged a bullet. A painful bullet, but a bullet nonetheless. That was 3 weeks ago. And then things got interesting. Last week, my father's brother passed away. My uncle, it wasn't unexpected. He'd been sick for a while, and he was in his 70s. It was sad, of course, but he lived a full life. My dad was named executor of his estate. My uncle was my dad's older brother, never married, no kids. He lived even more frugally than my parents, if you can believe that. He worked as a mechanical engineer for 40 years, saved everything, and invested in real estate back in the 90s. Smart guy, really smart. His will left everything to my father. And my father, being who he is, immediately split it with me. He said he and my mom didn't need it, that they wanted me to have it for my future. The amount? $4.2 million. Half of my uncle's estate. Just like that. After all the legal paperwork cleared, it was in my account. Combined with my own savings and investments, I'm sitting on about $4.6 million now. At 29 years old, I'm still working because I like my job and I'm not about to blow through it all, but yeah, life-changing money. Now, the local newspaper ran a small obituary that mentioned the estate distribution. It wasn't front-page news or anything. Just in the legal notices section, where they list will probates and stuff like that. Standard procedure. Apparently, my ex-girlfriend's mother reads those notices religiously. I guess she's always looking for gossip or something. 3 days after it was published, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's me. I know you blocked me, but I'm texting from my friend's phone. Can we talk, please? I made a huge mistake." I didn't respond. I just blocked that number too. 2 hours later, different number. "I know you're seeing these. I'm so sorry about everything. I was scared, and I said stupid things. I miss you. Can we at least meet for coffee?" Blocked. Then my work email got one. She must have Googled my company and found my contact info. "I understand you're hurt, but we had something real. 2 years means something. I was wrong about your parents. Your mom called mine and explained some things I judged too quickly. Let me make it right." "Wait, my mother did what?" I called my mom immediately. "Did you call my ex-girlfriend's mother?" "Oh, honey, yes," she said, sounding a little confused. "She called me asking about you. Said her daughter was heartbroken. I told her we were so sorry things didn't work out, but that you'd moved on. Was that wrong?" "What else did you say?" "Just that we raised you to be independent and that you'd be just fine in life. Why?" My mother, bless her heart, had no idea what she'd done. She'd basically confirmed my financial situation to the biggest gossip in town. "Nothing, Mom, it's fine." But it wasn't fine, because the texts kept coming, each one more desperate than the last. "I know about your inheritance. That doesn't change how I feel about you. I never cared about money. I just freaked out that day. I love you. Can you at least tell me you're okay? I'm worried about you." The audacity was actually impressive. And then yesterday, she showed up at my apartment building. She rang the buzzer for 10 minutes straight until my neighbor threatened to call the building manager. I finally went down to the lobby, figuring I'd tell her to leave once and be done with it. She looked rough. Hair not quite as perfect as usual. Makeup a bit smudged, like she'd been crying. I might have felt bad if I didn't know exactly why she was really there. "Thank you for coming down," she said, and the tears were already starting. "I've been trying to reach you for days. I know I've been blocking you. I deserve that. I was awful, the worst. I said terrible things about your family, and I've regretted it every single day since." "Uh-huh. I mean it. I was scared and stupid, and I judged your parents without knowing them. Your mom sounds so sweet on the phone. I want to apologize to her, too." "My mom's not interested in your apology." "Then just to you, please. Can we go somewhere and talk? Really talk?" "Talk about what?" "About us. About fixing this. I know I messed up, but people make mistakes. We can work through this." You dumped me in a parking lot because you thought my family was poor." Her face crumpled. I know how that sounds, but I had this picture in my head of what I wanted, and I panicked when it didn't match. But I've had time to think, and I realized none of that matters. You matter. We matter. Right. And this realization came when, exactly? What do you mean? When did you suddenly decide I was worth another shot? Before or after you found out about my uncle's will? She had the decency to look embarrassed. I didn't know about that until a few days ago, but that's not why I'm here. Sure it's not. I'd already been trying to reach you for over a week. Ask my friend. I borrowed her phone the day after I heard about your uncle, because I'd already been wanting to fix things. Technically possible, I guess, but I wasn't buying it. Look, I said, I appreciate you apologizing or whatever this is, but we're done. You made it clear what you wanted and it wasn't me. So, let's both just move on. I made a mistake. You made a choice, based on my parents' couch and my dad's flannel shirts. That tells me everything I need to know about your values. People change. I've changed. In 3 weeks? Impressive. Please. She was full on crying now. People in the lobby were starting to stare. Please, just give me one chance to prove I'm serious. One dinner, one conversation, that's all I'm asking. No? Why not? Because you're not sorry you judged me. You're sorry you judged wrong. Big difference. And just like that, her tears stopped. Her expression went cold. You know what? Fine. I tried to be nice about this, but you're not blameless here either. How's that? You lied to me for 2 years. You let me think you were just some regular guy when your family is loaded. That's deceptive. I actually laughed. I never lied about anything. You made assumptions. You actively hid it. I lived my normal life. You saw how I actually live. That's not hiding anything. That's just who I am. Most people don't keep millions a secret from their partner. I didn't have millions 3 weeks ago, and my parents' money isn't mine. They earned it. They can do whatever they want with it. I never felt the need to drop their net worth into casual conversation. That's such bullshit. You knew I cared about financial stability. You cared about status symbols. Also bullshit, but different bullshit. She jabbed her finger at my chest. You're going to regret this. You're not that special. There are plenty of guys who would treat me better. Then go find one. I will. And when you're alone and you realize what you lost, don't come crawling back to me. Deal. She stormed out, and I went back upstairs, honestly feeling better than I had in weeks. My neighbor caught me in the hallway. Older lady, been living here forever. That your ex? Yep. She seemed lovely. We both laughed. But of course that wasn't the end of it. The crazy escalated fast. First came the mutual friends. We'd accumulated several over 2 years, mostly people from her circle that I'd gotten to know. Suddenly, my phone was blowing up. Hey man, heard about the breakup. She's pretty torn up. You should probably call her. She really misses you. Don't you think you're being a little harsh? Everyone makes mistakes. I ignored most of them, sent a polite, I appreciate your concern, but I'd rather not discuss it to the ones who seemed genuinely confused rather than pushy. Then my Instagram got weird. I rarely post, but I have an account for keeping up with people. Suddenly, I got follow requests from 3 accounts I didn't recognize. All brand new, no posts, obvious fake accounts. I blocked them immediately. Then her best friend called me directly. Now, this woman never liked me even when we were dating, so this should have been my first clue. Look, I know you two broke up, she said, but you need to be reasonable here. I don't need to be anything. She made one mistake. 1. And you're throwing away 2 years like it was nothing. She dumped me in a parking lot because she didn't like my parents' house. She was overwhelmed. Meeting parents is stressful. Then she should have said that, instead of calling my family poor and ending the relationship. Oh, please, you're not some victim here. You clearly kept your family's money a secret on purpose. That's manipulative. This narrative was apparently making the rounds. I didn't keep anything secret. I just don't base my identity on my parents' bank account. Whatever. Point is, she's willing to forgive you for being shady about it. That's actually really big of her. The least you can do is hear her out. Pass. You're making a mistake. She's a catch, and you're not exactly drowning in options. Thanks for your input. I hung up and blocked her too. 2 days after that, my mother called, sounding confused. Honey, I got the strangest call today. Oh no, from who? Your ex's mother. She wanted to, well, I'm not entirely sure what she wanted. What did she say? She started by apologizing for her daughter's behavior. Said they raised her better than that. Then she started asking questions about our family, about you, about your prospects. That was the word she used, prospects. I rubbed my temples. What did you tell her? That you were doing very well and we were proud of you. Then she asked if we'd consider talking to her daughter, maybe encouraging you to give her another chance. Said young people are so quick to throw away good relationships these days. What did you say to that? I told her you were a grown man who could make your own decisions, and we supported whatever made you happy. She seemed disappointed. Sorry, you got dragged into this, Mom. Oh, I don't mind. But dear, she mentioned something about you inheriting money from your uncle. How does she know about that? The probate notices in the paper. Her mother reads them. Ah, long pause. Honey, you don't think, yeah, Mom, I do think. She sighed. I'm sorry, you deserved better than that. The next escalation came via my workplace. I got called into HR on a Friday afternoon and my stomach just dropped. I couldn't think of anything I'd done wrong, but getting called to HR is never good. The HR rep looked uncomfortable. We received a concerning call this morning from someone claiming to be your former domestic partner. What? She said she was worried about your mental state, that you'd recently experienced a death in the family and were making erratic financial decisions. She wanted to know if we had employee assistance resources she could share with you. The rep paused. She also mentioned you'd blocked her attempts to check on you, and she was concerned you might be isolating yourself in an unhealthy way. I sat there, genuinely speechless. Let me be very clear, I said slowly. I broke up with someone 3 weeks ago. She's been harassing me, trying to get back together. This is her attempt to reach me through my workplace. She's not concerned about my mental health. She's mad I won't talk to her. The HR rep nodded. That was our impression as well, honestly. The call felt more inappropriate than genuinely concerned. We told her we couldn't discuss employee matters and ended the call. But I wanted to make you aware in case she escalates further. She absolutely will. Do you need resources? Restraining order paperwork? Anything like that? Not yet, but I'll keep that in mind. That evening, I came home to find a large envelope taped to my apartment door. Inside were printed copies of text conversations between me and my ex from when we were happy. Screenshots of cute photos we'd taken together. A 3-page handwritten letter about all the good times we'd had and how one bad day shouldn't define us. The last page was different, though. It was a list. Reasons we belong together at the top. Then, 1, we have the same sense of humor. 2, we both love trying new restaurants. 3, our families get along. They could if you'd let them. 4, we're both focused on our careers. 5, we want the same things in life. 6, we're financially compatible, obviously. 7, your parents like me, your mom was so sweet on the phone. 8, we've already invested 2 years. 9, I know you better than anyone. 10, I love you and you love me. The obviously and multiple exclamation points really sold the authenticity of her feelings. I took photos of everything for documentation purposes and tossed it all in the trash. Sunday morning, my doorbell rang at 8 a.m. I looked through the peephole. My ex holding a box. I didn't answer. Just watched through the peephole as she waited, then rang again, then knocked, then finally left the box by the door and walked away. After she was gone, I grabbed it. Inside was a bunch of my stuff I'd left at her place over the months. Hoodies, a phone charger, a book I'd been reading. Normal relationship debris, but also included was a framed photo of us from a trip we'd taken, a custom keychain with our initials she'd bought me as a gift, and a receipt from a jewelry store dated 4 days ago for $300. The receipt was for a men's watch, engraving included. The message was clear. I spent money on you. You owe me. I donated the clothes, tossed the photo, put the keychain in a drawer, and forgot about it. Monday evening, I got home from work to find my ex sitting in the lobby of my building. Just sitting there, casually reading a magazine like she lived there. "How long have you been here?" I asked. She looked up, all casual. "Couple hours. I figured you'd get home around 6. You can't be here. It's a lobby, it's public. It's private property, for residents and guests. I used to be a guest all the time. Maybe they remember me." She smiled. "We should talk." "No. I miss you. I know I keep saying it, but I do. I miss our conversations. I miss watching movies with you. I miss cooking together on Sunday mornings. You ended that in a parking lot." I panicked. "Haven't you ever panicked and said something stupid?" "Not that stupid. Look, I get that you're mad. You have every right to be. But I'm trying to show you I'm serious. I'm putting in the effort. Doesn't that count for something?" "It counts as harassment." Her expression finally cracked. "Harassment? I'm trying to save our relationship." "We don't have a relationship. You ended it. I accepted it. That's where this story ends." "It doesn't have to." "Yeah, it does." "Why? Because of money? Because I freaked out over something that turned out to be wrong? That's not fair." "You know what's not fair. Judging someone's entire family based on their furniture. Deciding their worth based on appearances. Calling them poor like it's an insult. Then only wanting them back when you find out you miscalculated." "I admitted I was wrong." "You admitted you were wrong about the facts, not wrong about your values." "My values?" "Yeah. You valued status symbols over people. You still do. You're not here because you miss me. You're here because you're embarrassed. You misjudged the situation and you want to fix your mistake." "That's not true." "Then why now? Why not 2 weeks ago? Why did it take you finding out about my inheritance to suddenly realize you made a mistake?" "I tried to reach out before that. After you found out my family had money. Your mom called my mom, remember? The timeline is pretty clear." She stood up, her face red. "You think you're so much better than me? So perfect. You're not. You're vindictive and cold, and you clearly never loved me as much as I loved you." "Maybe not, but at least I loved you for you, not your bank account." "Screw you." She stormed out for the second time. I went upstairs, contacted building management, and formally requested she be added to a no trespass list. They were very understanding. It's been about 6 weeks now since the original breakup. Time for the final update because, honestly, I need to close this chapter. After the lobby incident and the no trespass notice, things got worse before they got better. My ex started showing up at places she knew I'd be. The coffee shop I usually hit on Saturday mornings, the grocery store near my apartment. Just happened to be there, looking all surprised to see me. "Oh my God, hey, crazy running into you here." "Not really, you're in my neighborhood." "I was just in the area, sure." This happened 3 times before I started varying my routine. Annoying as hell, but not technically illegal. Then came the social media play. She posted this long, vague status about toxic people who waste your time, and learning your worth, and dodging bullets. Lots of fire emojis. Her friends ate it up in the comments. I didn't respond, didn't even look at it more than once. My best friend sent me screenshots asking if I was okay. I told him I was fine and to stop monitoring her page. Her next move was bolder. She somehow got my email address, my personal one, not work, and sent me this long message. Essay length. It started with apologies, moved into reminiscing about good times, then got into how she'd been doing a lot of self-reflection and working on herself. The last part was the kicker. "I know I messed up. I know I judged your parents unfairly and said things I shouldn't have. But I want you to understand where I was coming from. I grew up watching my mom struggle financially after my dad left. I swore I'd never put myself in that position. When I saw your parents' house, it triggered something in me. That's not an excuse, just an explanation. I'm in therapy now, working through it. My therapist thinks we should talk. She says closure is important for both of us." The manipulation was almost artistic. Playing the trauma card, name-dropping therapy, suggesting her therapist recommended contact, which, spoiler, no ethical therapist would ever do without my consent. I deleted it without responding. 2 days later, she tried a different angle. A mutual friend called me, one of the few I actually liked. "Hey man, so this is awkward. She asked you to call me." "Yeah, look, I told her I didn't want to get in the middle, but she's pretty insistent. Says you won't respond to anything and she just wants closure. She wants me back, not closure. Figured, but she's telling everyone you're being unreasonable. That she apologized and you won't even talk to her, making you look like the bad guy. Let her." "You sure? Some people are buying it." "The people who buy it without hearing my side aren't people I need in my life." "Fair enough. Just wanted you to know what's being said." "Appreciate it." Around this time, my mother called with news. My ex's mother had called again, this time asking if there was anything we could do to help the kids work through this rough patch. "I told her you were an adult and this was your decision," my mom said. She seemed quite put out. Then she said something odd. "What?" She said, "Well, I hope he knows what he's giving up. My daughter is quite a catch and she won't wait around forever." Like it was a threat. I actually laughed. Good, hope she finds someone who meets her standards. That's what I said. Well, not in those words. I said something like, "I'm sure she'll find the right person for her." She didn't like that either. The final straw came at a friend's birthday party. I'd been debating whether to go since I knew my ex might show up. It was a mutual friend's party, after all, but I decided to go anyway because I wasn't going to hide. Sure enough, she was there. Saw me walk in, immediately made a beeline over. "Can we talk outside?" "Nope." "5 minutes, please, just 5 minutes." "No." "You can't avoid me forever." "Not avoiding you, just declining to engage." She grabbed my arm. "I need you to understand something." I pulled away. "Don't touch me." People were starting to stare. The birthday guy, a decent friend of mine, came over. "Hey, everything cool?" "Yeah, we're good," my ex said quickly. "Actually, no," I said. "She's harassing me and I've asked her multiple times to stop." My ex's face went red. Harassing you? I'm trying to have a conversation. A conversation requires 2 willing participants. This is ridiculous. All I want is closure. You got closure in the parking lot when you dumped me. That was a mistake. Cool. And I'm making the choice to not give you a second chance. That's my right. You're being petty. The birthday guy stepped in. Hey, maybe you should head out. Let him enjoy the party. Are you seriously taking his side? I'm not taking sides. I'm asking you to leave him alone at my birthday party. She looked around, realized everyone was watching, and stormed out again. The party was awkward after that, but whatever. I stayed for another hour, then headed home. Got a text the next day from her. You humiliated me in front of everyone. That was cruel and unnecessary. I was trying to be mature about this, and you turned it into a scene. Everyone thinks you're crazy now. Hope you're happy. I blocked the number. Should have done it weeks ago, but part of me wanted to document her behavior in case I needed a restraining order. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, radio silence. Either she finally gave up, or she's planning her next move. Honestly, I don't care which. As for me, I'm doing all right. Not perfect, but all right. The inheritance money is invested. I'm not touching it except for putting a chunk toward a down payment on a house. I found a nice place in a good neighborhood. My parents came to see it, and my mom cried happy tears. My dad just kept saying, "Good bones, son, good bones." Work is going well. I actually got a promotion. Nothing to do with any of this drama, just good timing and a project that went really well. Dating? Not yet. I'm not really interested in jumping into anything. My trust took a hit from all this. Realizing someone you cared about only valued you for superficial reasons does a number on you. But I'm not bitter, just more careful. Next time, I'll pay closer attention to how someone treats other people, not just me. How they talk about money and status and what they value. My ex taught me a valuable lesson. When someone shows you their true colors, believe them the first time. She showed me exactly who she was in that parking lot. Took me a minute to accept it, but once I did, everything else became background noise. No dramatic revenge, no public call-outs, just boundaries, firm ones. She wanted someone who'd provide a certain lifestyle. I wanted someone who'd love me regardless of lifestyle. We weren't compatible, simple as that. The inheritance was just the catalyst that revealed what was already there. Would things have blown up eventually anyway? Probably. Maybe when I suggested a modest wedding instead of a lavish one. Or when I didn't want to buy a McMansion in the suburbs. Or when I said I'd rather invest money than spend it on status symbols. Better to find out at 2 years than at 10 years with kids involved. So, yeah, that's where things stand. Single, financially secure, living my life. My parents are happy. I'm happy, mostly. The ex is presumably off finding someone who better matches her requirements. Everyone gets what they wanted in the end, I guess. Except she doesn't get what she wants anymore. Because she threw it away over a couch and some flannel shirts. But that's not my problem. That's hers.